Okay, so we're going to try graphing this quadratic equation. I plugged some x's in. We'll plug those in here and see what we get for y, and then we'll graph those points over here, see what it looks like. If I plug in -3, oh, this is not going to work very well. That would be 9 minus 6 minus 1. So that would be 2. I guess that'll work, okay. 4 minus 4, that would be -1. If I plug in -1, that'd be 1 minus 2 minus 1. If I plug in 0, that one's kind of easy because that becomes 0, 0 minus 1. If I plug in 1, if I plug in 2, 4 plus 4 minus 1. So it's starting to get pretty big here. If I plug in 3, 9 plus 6, 15 minus 1 is 14. Alright, and then you graph those points. -3, 2, -2, -1, -1, -2, 0, -1, 1, 2, and 2, 7. Alright. What, do you guys know what this shape was called that we're making here? Parabola, yeah. Hey. Yeah, it's called a parabola. Does anybody remember, probably not, what this point is called down here? It's called a vertex. The origin is the center of the thing. It's called a vertex. So it's kind of like the center. Some parabolas can be upside down like this. We'll talk about that in a second. But so the vertex, this point is at -1, -2. Okay, also it's kind of separately, but do you guys remember what domain means?
No, but I remember what range means.
What's range mean?
It goes with domain, that's all I remember.
Okay, that's not what it means.
Oh, wait. No.
Okay.
X numbers?
Yep, domain is the x values.
Oh, and range is y values.
Well done.
I did.
Brady to the rescue. Alright. So yeah, what are the possible x values that we can use in this? Well, I can go infinite both directions, right? Now, there's two ways we could write this. It could be written like this. You're going from negative infinity to positive infinity. Need some work on my infinity symbols. That means everything, but the way the book writes it instead of that is it can be anything, so it's all real numbers. That's how this book does it. So this just gives a lower limit and an upper limit. That just tells you it's everything. There's two different ways. This is the way the book does it. I kind of prefer this way, but since we're using this book, we'll do it this way.
How do you do the graph again? Sorry.
I just made up some x values.
Okay.
We're going to learn other.
I didn't understand how you drew the graph for the x values.
Well, I plug the x in, I got a y value. The x and the y that go together make a point on the graph.
Oh, I think I see it now. Yeah, I see.
The solutions to the equations are points on the graph. What are the possible y values we can get out of this? Well, what's the smallest y value we can get? -2. Nothing below -2. So the range would be y is anything greater than or equal to -2. Okay. If you're using the limit method, which we're not going to be using, it will look like this. Okay, you have to use the box to show that's included. Infinity is not included, so use a parenthesis anyway. Because you can't get to infinity. You can only head in that direction. Alright, but we're going to be using this method. We'll just use the y is greater than stuff. Okay, what did I forget? Oh, axis of symmetry, maximum and minimum. Yeah. So, a parabola is always symmetrical, right? If symmetrical means, you split it in half the same on both sides, like we're symmetrical. So if I drew the line right down the middle that splits it, that's called the axis of symmetry. Does symmetry have two M's? Symmetry?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks weird. Smartboard's not correcting it for me. Hmm? Like when you type it, you'll get a red line on your computer. Anyway, maybe you're right. No, don't care. All right, to describe this line, since all the x values are through -1, the line is just called x equals -1. Okay, it's always called that. Like the line over here would be called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X equals 5. That would be this line. So the axis of symmetry always looks something like that. It's going to be the x coordinate of your vertex, because your vertex is always going to be right smack in the middle. And then there's a maximum or a minimum. If the graph is going up, it's going to have a minimum. If the graph is going down, it's going to have a maximum. So the minimum on this graph is y is -2. That's how low it goes. On this one over here, it's y. The maximum is y equals 4. This does not have a maximum, right? Because it goes up forever. This one does not have a minimum. It goes down forever. That's a little kit and caboodle. We are doing page 239. 1 through 18. I did forget to tell you one teensy little thing. Okay, the way that you make something go down is you put a negative on the first term, the quadratic term, I guess you could call it the x squared term. If there's a negative on that one, that kind of affects everything, because the exponent of 2 is the strongest. So if you do anything to this term, it affects everything the most. You put a negative on that first term, your graph's gonna always go down. All right. So what did I say? 239, 1 through 18. That's a microphone, isn't it?
Yes.
What do you say number was?
1 through 18. I guess it's better than 1 through 42. So.
I was looking at it and I didn't go to 42, so I was a little bit.
Yeah, okay. We might have to do 1 through 8 together here.
Oh, that's such a shame.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't
because it's not like every other problem is the same kind. Anyway, you guys will do it for me though. Okay, number 1, they graphed the y equals x squared plus 2x plus 2. Looks pretty similar to my graph, right? What is the domain for that graph?
Wouldn't it be -1, -2, -3,
No.
and then D?
Isn't it A?
Oh yeah.
No.
Because it's an x value.
No, then that be the x
It's A, right?
I think it's
No.
What?
It's not.
Okay, what x values can we use in this function?
Is it F? No.
Yes.
Oh!
There is
Still
no
have it, maybe.
there is no limit to what we can put in for x, right?
Oh, because it's going up and down by 1.
Okay, it goes left and right forever. Parabolas go left and right forever. That means their x values are unlimited. So that means the x values are all real numbers. Okay, number 2 is a little bit different. What's the range?
Just literally everything else.
Range.
Everyone else gets
Is that D?
No.
Is it E?
Yes, why is it E?
Because it starts here.
Starts, the smallest y value is 1 and it goes up from there, so y is greater than or equal to 1. The y in front, it's not important, it's just so it's E. Any questions on that one? Okay, number 3, what's the vertex?
H.
Yes, -1, 1, H. Number 4, it kind of looks like mine, doesn't it? What is the axis of symmetry?
Would it be
X equals negative
A?
1.
Yeah, A, x equals -1. That red line right down the center is described by x equals -1. Number 5, what is the y-intercept? Where does it cross the y-axis at?
Oh, would that be B?
G.
G, yeah, 0, 2.
Oh.
Number 6, what is the x-intercept? Where's it cross the x-axis?
Is that I?
Right, it doesn't happen, so yeah, they put that on I. Number 7, what's the maximum of the graph? Trick question.
Is it B?
Nope.
R.
B would be the what? Is there a maximum? No, it goes up forever. So what's the maximum?
I again.
I again, yeah. Tricked you. Does not exist. Okay, what's the minimum though?
Negative 1, 1. For H.
Yeah, -1, 1.
I've never seen a matching
Stays more than
that uses more than one.
I is used more than once, H is used more than once. Yeah. The maximum and minimum will always be at the vertex on parabolas. Okay. But back to the odds here. For each parabola, state the vertex, whether the vertex is max or min. That's kind of easy. The equation of the axis of symmetry, the domain, and the range. I'll probably better write this one down. Oops. Okay. What is the vertex for number 9?
1.
Okay, -3, 2. Second question, is it a maximum or minimum point? Minimum. It's the bottom of the graph, right, not the top. So it's a minimum. Minimum. Let's see, what's the equation? What's the equation of the axis of symmetry?
X equals -3.
Right. It's always going to match the x value of your vertex. Okay, if you drew a vertical line, it would go right through x and -3. That line is called x equals -3 because all those x value, all those points on that line have an x value of -3. Okay, what was the last question? Oh, what's the domain and range? What's the domain?
All the numbers.
Yeah.
Domain is all real numbers, so they just did this. And what's the range?
2. Like everything.
Everything bigger than 2. Does it include 2?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's y is greater than or equal to 2. You see how it's going here? Okay, Brady, on number 11, what's the vertex?
2, 1.
2 what?
Oh, 2, -1.
2, -1. Okay. Is it a maximum or minimum point?
Minimum?
It's at the top of the parabola, right?
Oh,
So
the vertex, okay,
yeah, if it's at the top of the hill, it's the max.
okay.
So you can put max. What is the axis of symmetry? It's not negative this time. Right. So on the right side of the graph, so it's x equals positive. What's the domain? All real numbers.
Is it ever gonna be not?
Not for parabolas, no.
Okay.
What's the range?
Anything greater than -1 or less than -1?
Less than or equal to -1. Is that it? Oh, 5, yep, okay. Number 13. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't like the vertex question on 13 through 18. We haven't really learned how to find the vertex without graphing it yet.
We
But
should just mark that out.
okay, they kind of dumbed it down though because they don't have. It's not going to shift left or right on this one. So if I just graph y equals x squared, what it would look like is a parabola like, oops, a little pretty than that. It would just be at 0, 0 would be the vertex. If I just do like a, say a +2 right there, guess what's going to happen?
It's just gonna.
Yeah, the graph moves up 2, or, you know. So for this vertex, it would be at 0, 2 for this one, not that one. Now, if you make it more complicated, like throw in the 2x, that gets a little trickier. But they didn't do that on this part because we haven't learned it yet. So it's just going to be like 0, 2 or something like that. Does anybody want to guess where the vertex on number 13 is? Okay, 0, 0 is correct. It's not shifting up or down any. What do you think that
Are you the right or left then?
when you
Would add 2 and or -2? Is that how you move right or left?
well, one of the ways you can do it, there's a couple ways. We haven't learned that lesson yet. One of the ways you can do it is put a x term in there. That moves it left or right. But that's kind of like tomorrow's lesson. Okay, what do you guys think that 5 in front of the x squared is going to do to the graph? We'll talk about that either.
Up 5.
No, doesn't move it up 5.
Make it steeper.
Yeah. How'd you know that?
I guess.
Good guess. He said make it steep. So if you do 5 times x squared, everything's gonna get bigger 5 times faster. It's gonna go up 5 times faster. So if this is what a normal, I'm not drawing well, I'm rusty, I guess. If this is what a normal parabola looks like, if you do 5 times x squared, it's just gonna go up 5 times faster. It'll be really steep like that. So okay, the opens question means is the graph going to open up or open down?
So this one means it's gonna open up, right?
Up, right. If it's a positive x squared, the graph is going to be going up. Okay, the range they did for us, y is greater than or equal to 0. Why is it greater than or equal to 0? Because the vertex is at 0, 0. Like right here. So if it's greater than or so basically the y value of the vertex is the lowest point on the range. Alright.
Steeper.
Yeah, the last question they wanted was steeper. How does it compare to normal y equals x squared? It's going to be steeper than y equals x squared. We probably better look at 14 too.
Yeah.
Okay, is 14 gonna open up or down?
Downward.
Down, because the negative. So let me do a quick little sketch here. It's gonna look something like this, right? The vertex is at 0, 0 again. They told us that. What is the range?
Anything less than or equal to 0?
Right. Y is less than or equal to 0. Because if the vertex is at 0, 0, that's as high as it gets, so less than or equal to 0. Is it going to be flatter or steeper than normal? What do you think when you multiply by half, what do you think that does? Flatter. If you multiply anything by anything less than 1, like a fraction, less than 1, then it will flatten it out. It will flatten the curve. If you multiply by something greater than 1, it'll steepen it. So the 1/2 slows it down. So flatter would be the last answer on 14. Okay, 15. Where is the vertex going to be?
-2.
Right, down 2. So we'll put 0, -2 for the vertex. I'll write this on a different page. What's the range going to be? Okay, we should look at it opens downward. They wrote that for us, right? So you got to get that in your head. It's 0, -2 is the vertex. It opens downward, so we sketch it out. 0, -2, opening downwards. So it looks something like that. So what's the range?
Any y is less than or equal to -2.
Yeah, all the y values less than or equal to -2. Is it flatter or steeper than your normal x squared?
Flatter.
Flatter. The 0.4 is less than 1, so it will be flatter. One more. Okay, where is the vertex on number 17?
-1/4.
Okay, yeah. 0, -1/4. Is it going to open up or down?
Wait, did we just do 16?
No. It's going to open up. Lost my place. What's the range going to be?
Y is greater than.
Right. It starts down at -1/4 and it's going up from there. So it's y is greater than or equal to -1/4. Starts down at -1/4. It's going up from there. So it's y is greater than or equal to -1/4. Is it steeper or flatter than normal? No.
The same.
Same, yeah, it's a trick question.
That's what I meant.
Same.
That's
Because
what I meant by flatter.
they didn't
No, I
multiply
said
the
neither.
x squared term
I
by.
didn't say flatter, I said neither. Yeah, weird accents.
So what you didn't understand is our speaking Japanese. It just sounded better.
Alright, why don't you guys give the rest of that a shot?